Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So in today's video we are back out at the Sunday boot fair, and yeah, really looking forward to this. It was meant to be a free boot fair weekend, but with weather and everything else it has just ended up being just the Sunday boot fair, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, hopefully we're able to find some really good bits. We found some random bits last week, which were pretty good. I think the best thing that we found was obviously that PSP. It was absolutely impeccable condition. And yeah, so let me get you all set up on the backpack and then we'll go around and we'll see if we can find anything.
We've got a neighbour called Barry. We named him Big Bad Barry.
Shit. This is in postal for his letterbox, trolling for a while.
Yeah. We got all the CDs you got with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, how much you have on the games? Pound, yeah?
Pound.
Yeah.
Get there before the traders.
There you go.
Been slightly squished. Lovely, thank you.
Right, I've done that one.
I'll give you a change back.
Right, cheers, mate.
Handgun, heck it. He's carrying it around. Tile cutting disc from my tile cut. Where's the CD? I'll take it back out. Do a new one on there. It's a brand new one.
That one only good. It's half the man then. It's half the man then. How much is this one? 50p. Lovely, thank you. Yeah.
I'll grab all them ones as well, mate. Yeah. 8.
There you go then.
There you go, mate. Cheers.
You'll have to ask the boy, there is games.
Do you want £2 each or are you going to hold that for free? Meet me in the middle for a fiver?
How much are the games?
£3 each.
3 each, yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Josh.
We've got a bunch of DVDs still in there. But
Yeah, I know. Okay. Does Josh need
Is that the only games you've got?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You do 4 for 10?
You do 4 for 10. That's £2 less.
Yeah. Brilliant. Cheers.
I paid 13 quid for it, but there's all loads of albums.
You alright? How many games?
5 for the Horizon.
5 on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
What's in the books?
These are 5, these are all 4, and they're 5.
How much is your phone? How much was it? How much was your phone? £5 for the case.
How much do you want for that, mate?
£2.
£2.
Cheers.
There you go. Cheers, mate. CS games.
There's got some loose cartridges in there as well. Might be worth a little flip.
Yeah.
before anyone else gets on. There's got some old little games here.
There's what?
Got some old little games or whatever it is.
The Tonka truck.
Yeah. There's got some old stuff here.
Excuse me, mate. Is there any chance I could have a look at the DS games?
There is indeed.
Love the t-shirt.
Nice bum and all. Pre-warning, I sell just under retail, so
Right.
a lot of people have been disgusted because I won't sell them a 20 quid Mario game for £1 so far today, but strangely enough, I know what they're worth a little bit. Fair play. I'm not after eBay because at least I haven't got to patch them up and sell them and ship them and let Royal Mail lose them, but I'd obviously always want to do it. Underneath that one as well, there's more. I can see some Wii games in the black one.
Yeah.
Is that Hello Kitty there?
Yeah, I've been told I need to curb my Hello Kitty addiction.
See, if these prices are quite high, I ain't got my phone, so I can't do anything.
That guy just said he's a dealer, isn't it?
Yeah, these prices are going to be reasonably high. Because he knows the prices.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to find them people who don't know too much.
I wonder what's happened with that guy that used to come down there with his van and unload loads of crates.
What, the house clearance?
Yeah, he just hasn't turned up forever.
No.
Has he?
To be
got banned.
I don't know.
Or something?
I don't know, but I know that he got really snotty towards the end of the season last year.
I remember he was getting really frustrated, wasn't he?
Yeah, I
saw how he was with the people.
Yeah, you throw him offers and he'd literally lose his rag with you. What do you want?
5 on you, Kai, 20 on Mario and 5 on Donkey Kong. Did a lot for 25.
Sorry?
5 on you, Kai, 5 on Donkey Kong and 20 on Mario.
20 on Mario.
25 for the 3 if you want, mate.
Tell you what, I'll just get them 2 then. Yeah? 5, yeah?
Hey?
5 for that.
5 each, yeah.
5 each? Yeah.
Call it 7 on the pair if you want, mate.
Yeah, go on. You right there? What's the name on your Pokemon book?
It's a game and a book.
Yeah.
It's got a little figure and you have to follow the story and then go around the book game thing with it.
How much do you want for it?
£2.
£2?
Mister? He's the boss at the end of the day.
He looks like he wants to go back to bed.
Oh, well,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I worked up at more
Right. Now I can start putting them out. Right. Come round. Another rummage. You should have been with me. I haven't got Hot Wheels. Should have come last week. I had the green one of that red tray was full to the brim. I sold the whole lot.
That's my neighbours. Yeah. And
I sold the whole lot.
they paid their mind.
I paid a tenner for the whole lot, mate. I split the whole lot for 100. Gone. I had 600 cars. Right.
I don't tend to buy the loose ones up.
Yeah, nah.
No.
Big driver.
I've got some PS4 games.
Alright.
Don't touch the toys, baby. Don't touch them.
Fully. Catch. Tool power. Do us a favour.
Yeah.
Just shove that just up front for me, could you?
There or underneath.
Underneath. Any for you left though?
Yeah, I'll have a couple of them. So I've got that one. What do you want them for?
Not for the best for, aren't you?
Huh?
Not for the best for.
So now we're back from the boot fair, we can actually go through everything that we managed to pick up. And I will say, looking at the pile of stuff that we've got, it is very much focused on more modern consoles. So we've got quite a lot of Xbox One, got some PS4, have got some PS1 there, which is really good. But yeah, some good games, and I will say I have actually gone through and done all of the gameplay footage for these, so I can actually talk about the games knowing what I'm talking about, which is good. So let's get straight in, and the first game that we've got to look at is Halo Wars 2 on the Xbox 360. Now this is a sort of top-down sort of strategy, very much like Command & Conquer, Red Alert, those sort of games. I will say I played it for probably about 10-15 minutes and I did actually enjoy it. It's definitely a game I will pick up at some point. I think the issue that I have with these sort of strategy games on consoles is I just find them very clunky to play using the controller. I'm very much of those sort of strategy games you need to play on the PC with your mouse. And yeah, but I will say I did enjoy playing this, so yeah, a good addition to the collection. Not played any of the Halo Wars games before, so as I say, this was quite enjoyable. So we paid £1 for that one. Goes for £4 at CEX and £6 on eBay. Then, right, so the next one was an absolute nightmare to capture gameplay footage for, and that is Destiny 2. So I don't think I've actually played Destiny 2 on any platform. I think I've got it on PS4. I don't think I've ever played it. I have played Destiny. I was actually involved quite early on with Destiny, so I played the alpha, I played the beta, and then obviously it had I think the wife bought me the retail release for Christmas or birthday one year. And yeah, I will admit, by the time the retail version of Destiny 1 came out, I was just a bit bored of it. And I have to say, Destiny 2 was a massive disappointment. So obviously, Destiny is an online game. Not going to complain about that. I've got another game that I'll be talking about later on where I'll be complaining about online. This was an absolute nightmare to get running because it's about 50 gig for the game install, and then immediately you've got a 120 gig update to download. Now most Xbox One games and PlayStation 4 games as well, the install would get to a certain point and then it would let you start the game, so you'd at least be able to start going through maybe the first level or so. But no, not Destiny. Destiny wants everything downloaded before it'll even let you launch the game. So it took about, I want to say about 3 hours to install this completely. And I will say the internet I've got here is no slouch. But yeah, this was an absolute nightmare, and I will say once I actually got into it, I was extremely disappointed with it. So once again, I think by this point I only ended up playing about 10 minutes of it. This was the last game that I played of the evening, and yeah, it just seemed to be a complete sort of rehash of the very beginning of the original Destiny, and I'm like, I could have at least changed it up, but yeah, it literally just felt like playing Destiny 1 again, and yeah, very, very disappointed with that, and yeah, probably won't be playing it again because yeah, as I say, I'm not a massive online gamer anyway. I don't like, the very, very few online games that I've ever played. I think I can probably count them on one hand. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a go, and yeah, as I say, just really disappointed that they didn't sort of start it in a different way. Then next up, going back, so Destiny on, so we paid £1 for that. Surprisingly enough, it's not actually listed on CEX, but it sells for about £3 on eBay. So yeah, there's that. Then next up, we've got NBA 2K18. And I have to say, I have played a couple of these NBA games now when I've been capturing footage. And I know I've played a bit of basketball when I was in school, but I don't know too much about them. I hadn't really played a lot of games before I started capturing footage for the channel. But I will say, all of the basketball games that I've played so far, I have actually enjoyed playing. So yeah, when I knew that I had these to play, I was really looking forward to it. And I will say they didn't disappoint. They are just like the FIFAs, they sort of go a step further each time. And obviously we've got two. So we've got 2K18, but we also picked up 2K20 as well. And I have to say, out of two, I preferred 2K20. I thought it was a much better game. I just thought the controls were a bit easier, and maybe it's because I played this one first, and then by the time I'd finished this, I'd got to grips, and it made 2K20 easy. But I definitely found 2K20 a lot better to play. But yeah, as I say, really enjoyed them. So paid £1 for each of them as well. 2K18 goes for £3 at both CEX and eBay. And 2K20, obviously, we've got the Legend Edition, which I don't know what you get for that. Xbox One Enhanced, I think. Don't know, but yeah, so we've got the Legend Edition. It goes for £5 at CEX, but that is only for the Standard Edition. And then the Legend Edition goes for £8 on eBay. Right, and then we get on to the next collection of games. And I'm just going to do all of these together, and I'll put up footage of one of the games. So we've got 3 wrestling games. We've got WWE 2K17, 18, 19 and 20. And I have to say, these are by far the worst games that I've ever played. I think after today, I will say this out now, if I ever pick up a wrestling game again, I will not be capturing footage for it, because I did not enjoy these at all. I really didn't. The best way I can describe them is that it's like playing Street Fighter with quick time events. Because yeah, whenever your opponent goes to grab you or anything like that, you've got a button press to make. And literally every single time it was either too early or too late, and then I was just getting wailed on, like just nothing I could do. So I think with the first one, I think I played a round, and by the time I got towards the end of the round, I got pinned, and I was like, do you know what, just pin me. I'm done. And then when I tried to capture footage for 2K18, I think it was 2.5 minutes worth of intros, and then I lasted about 30 seconds in the game before I gave up and turned off. So yeah, I will admit, not a massive fan of the wrestling games. I'll be honest, I've never been a big fan of wrestling full stop, but I thought, do you know what, it's a type of fighting game as far as I'm concerned. And the thing is I love fighting games. I love sort of all your normal ones, your Street Fighters, your Dead or Alive, your Mortal Kombats, everything like that. Then I also like the more realistic ones, like the Knockout King series. Played all of them, and I thought they were all really good. But yeah, these ones I just could not get on with. And yeah, for me, they were just too frustrating to enjoy. And so yeah, that is why there's very limited footage on them ones. Then next up, so this is the last game. So I actually picked up all of these games from one seller, and yeah, he done me an absolutely cracking deal. It was £1 each. I basically paid for everything. With regards to the rest, actually before we move on, wrestling games. So 2K17 goes for £4 at both CEX and eBay. 2K18 Deluxe Edition goes for £4 on CEX, £8 on eBay. 2K19 goes for £8 at CEX, $6.50 on eBay. And 2K20 goes for £10 at CEX and £7 on eBay. So from that perspective, really, really good, because yeah, there's some good value in those games. But yeah, they will not be ones that I will be playing again, unfortunately. But as I say, there was one more game that we picked up from this seller, and it was not one I've ever heard of, so that was what made it really interesting to me. And that was Empire of Sin. Now, I looked at it, it looked interesting, didn't have a clue about it. And when I played it, it was really enjoyable. I mean, this was one of the, there's a lot of time when I'm filming footage for these videos, or the gameplay footage for these videos, I tend to say, right, I'll do 10 minutes worth of footage and then just pick out the best part to put into the video. With this one, I think I was on it for about 30 minutes. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, so from what you're seeing, well, you'll see the footage on the video itself, and it's more of a sort of isometric, sort of a bit of a strategy type. Well, I don't really know how to describe this one, because it's not really a strategy game, but it works in a similar sort of principle to them. It's based in, is it 1920s sort of Prohibition era, and when the character that I actually chose to play was Al Capone. So obviously when you're playing this sort of game, you've got to aim high. And yeah, will say, really, really enjoyed this game. Definitely a hidden gem on the Xbox One. As I say, not one that I've seen before, so that made it a bit interesting to me. But yeah, once I played it, did actually really enjoy it. Looking it up online, so sorry, we paid £1 for that one again. And then yeah, looking it up online, it goes from both CX and eBay for £5. So yeah, really, really chuffed with those. As I say, a bit of a mixed bag there with regards to sort of my level of enjoyment. As I say, other people, sort of all of you have probably got a completely different take on the games that I've just gone through. And I think that's what I really love about gaming, is there's so many different types of games that you can get that no one's going to like all of them, but yeah, it's always interesting to see what people do. Right, so moving on, we've got a couple of DS games. And I'm just going to grab one out because we've got one cart and one complete in box. So the complete in box is actually a 3DS game, and this is Yokai Watch 2 Spirit Oasis. Is that? I don't know how you pronounce that. But yeah, it is complete. And actually in really good condition, so really, really chuffed with that. We paid £5 for this. I will say, when I went to this stall and I started looking through the stuff, the seller was quite upfront, and he turned around and said, I'm normally selling stuff sort of for around sort of market price, so don't expect to be getting sort of games for £1.50p and that. I was like, yeah, fine. Quite actually admire you being sort of straight up with it. So yeah, we paid £5 for this. Looking it up, it wasn't listed. Neither of the two games that I got off him were listed on CEX, but on eBay this goes for $7.50 in this condition. So yeah, not a massive difference from what I paid, but still paid a bit less than the eBay price, which is good. And then the other game that I picked up from him was cart only, and it was Donkey Kong Jungle Climber DS. So this is, as I say, cart only. And I will admit, I haven't been able to get footage for either of these two, because with the DS, the 3DS, the DS and all of that, I haven't actually got the hardware to plug into my capture card to play it. So what I tend to do is I emulate these when I'm playing games for these. So anytime you see DS or 3DS games on the channel, they'll always be done through emulation, or any handheld really, apart from the older Game Boys. So yeah, I will admit I haven't had a chance to play this yet, but we paid £2 for it. And actually this one, there's quite a disparity with this one because we paid £2 for cart only, but it actually goes for about £9 on eBay cart only. So yeah, really chuffed with that. But yeah, Donkey Kong game, you can't really go wrong. And it wasn't one that I had in the collection, so that was one of the reasons for picking it up. And if I really want, I could probably find the cover art and manual online, and then sort of basically put a complete in-box version together. So yeah, there's that. Then next up we've got another set of Xbox One games, and with this one I remember I walked up, I saw some guy looking through them all, and I was like, right, I'm gonna hover, because I wanted to see if he left anything. I was pretty much going to go in and grab it all. And the one on top I'm actually going to leave till last because that is my favourite out of all of these. So the first one that we got was Forza Horizon 3. I've played most of the Forza Horizon games. Definitely played most of the Forza games on the Xbox, on all the series actually. I think we've got, yeah, I think we've actually got everything up until about Forza 5. And then the Forza Horizons, I think I've actually got all, I've got the first 4. I think they're on Horizon 5 or 6 now. So yeah, as I say, I really enjoyed them. I like the normal Forza games for the more serious type of stuff, and then Forza Horizons are very much sort of your Need for Speeds, very sort of wacky, but still grounded as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, really enjoyed these. So paid £2.50 for this. Goes for £8 at CEX and £5.50 on eBay. Then another racing game, and this was one actually I was really excited for when it was coming out, but yeah, it just, as it got closer to release, I was seeing more of it, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't look as good as I thought it was going to be, and that was Project Cars. So yeah, this was the first real time that I played it. I can't actually tell you what I think of it. Is it as good as Gran Turismo or Forza? I don't think so, if I'm honest. Yeah, I just don't think it's as good as the other sort of main sort of realistic racing games that are out there. But it was a good game. It was well put together. Just didn't think it was up to scratch with regards to the other sort of big games that were out there. I think there's actually a sequel for this now as well. So yeah, that might be something that I'll check out in the future. Maybe they've sort of learned from from this one and made a couple of improvements. So once again, paid £2.50 for this. It goes for £4 on both CEX and eBay. And then, right, so we've got 2 more games from this seller. The second to last one is Minecraft Story Mode. So I have actually got both Season 1 and Season 2 on the PS4. The little one loves Minecraft. So yeah, anything like that that comes out we tend to pick up. And yeah, they had both Season 1 and Season 2 on the PS4 because that's what they've got in the room. So I saw this, picked it up. See, the only disappointment with this one is it isn't complete on disc. This is one of the ones where it's got the episode 1 on disc, and then the rest of the episodes then need to be downloaded. But from what I've seen, there is a complete on disc version, so I'm probably going to try and track that down at some point. But yeah, as I say, I played the original on the PlayStation 4 back when the little one got it, and played this one again, and yeah, they're good games. I love the Telltale games, always have done. I've played the Back to the Future games through God knows how many times. Jurassic Park, that is one that's actually so high up my list at the moment, is to get hold of the Jurassic Park, the Telltale games Jurassic Park on the 360. It was only released in the US, and it tends to go for about £40 to £50. but it is one that is so high up my list because I love that game. I'm a massive fan of Jurassic Park, especially the first one. The second and third is a bit wishy-washy, but then the Jurassic Worlds I find I really enjoy as well. But yeah, the Jurassic Park the game, for those of you that don't know, it is essentially a sequel that I would have liked to have seen to Jurassic Park. So basically it's actually happening at the same time as the first film, but it's focusing more on the can of Bulbasaur, which, to be quite honest, actually now in the sort of scheme of it, it actually falls out of canon. I don't think it was ever classed as canon anyway, but obviously, yeah, with stuff that happens in the later films and the Camp Cretaceous series. So yeah, but it is a really good game. If you get the chance to play it, I've actually played it through quite a few times. I've got it on my Steam library. But yeah, as I say, the Telltale games I really enjoy. And there's actually a couple more that I want to actually sit down and play. Wolf Among Us. I've never actually played the Walking Dead ones either. So yeah, really enjoy the Telltale games. And it's such a shame that they're not about anymore. Because yeah, I just thought all the games that they brought out were absolute bangers. But back to the games. So we've got one more game off this seller. And it was a game called Generation Zero. Now, once again, this was a game that I have never heard of, but as soon as I saw it, it just looked so interesting. And it was quite funny because after a couple of days after I picked this up, I was watching a video on YouTube. I can't remember whose video it was or what even the video was about, but this game, they actually had this game on there. So I got to see some footage of it before I actually sat down and captured the footage for it. And yeah, it did not disappoint. So it's a game by Avalanche Studios. And the best way that I can describe it is a cross between Horizon Zero Dawn and State of Decay. More so in the sort of State of Decay arena. Because it is essentially sort of post-apocalyptic, but instead of zombies, it is machines. And the machines very much remind me of the sort of machines that were in Horizon Zero Dawn. But yeah, I had really high expectations of this game before going into it, and absolutely enjoyed it. This was another one where I probably played it for about 40-50 minutes before I actually realised that sort of how long I'd been playing for. So yeah, definitely one I'm going to be going back to and spending a lot more time on. So for that one we pay £2.50. It goes for £5 at CEX and £12 on eBay. So yeah, really chuffed to pick that one up. Then we got a couple of books before we go into the pickups that I managed to get from Glenn and Dan. So the first book, and this is actually a book that I've been wanting to pick up for a while, but never really seen it at a price that I wanted to pay. And that is the Minecraft Blockopedia. So we paid £2 for this. Didn't actually realise how cheap it had gotten, because it now only goes for about £4 on eBay. So wish I'd actually just picked it up from eBay, because once I actually got it home, pulled it out, I mean I was showing the little one, and then pulled the book out of the case, realised that it's all ripped, all the spine is ripped along the back. So a bit disappointed there, but as I say, I probably will look to pick up a better quality copy of it. But yeah, nice one to have in the collection anyway. So yeah, £2 we paid for that, £4 on eBay. Obviously there's not a CEX price on that. And then the other book that we picked up was actually one that we've already got in the collection, but the one that we've got wasn't quite complete, and I saw this one and it was complete. And that is the Pokémon Encyclopedia and Board Game Edition, or the Board Game Edition. Now, the one that I've got doesn't have the little Pikachu character in it. It's actually missing that. So I saw this there, saw that it had the Pikachu character, asked the seller what they wanted for it, and they said £1. So I was like, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I was able to get this, and I can have now a complete version in the collection, which is really good. Looking it up online, it goes for about £7 on eBay, so that was a really, really good price. Okay, so let's get into the Glenn and Dan pickups. So we're going to start off with the pickups that I got from Glenn, and we'll go straight into the first one because it is actually sort of on the floor down here, and it is a massive bag filled with Pokemon cards. We've got binders, we've got tins, we've got elite trainer boxes. There's everything in it, and they're all filled with cards. There must be well over 2,500 cards in here. So yeah, a lot to go through. I have started going through them. I've actually gone through this binder, and there is so many cards just in this binder that I don't have in the collection already. And these are just 2 or 3 sets, so yeah, really, really chuffed with these. But what I also got as well is I actually got a couple of albums, and they're these ones. So they're Brilliant Stars albums. There are, I think, how many did I get? 10. So 10, and they're all different. They've all got different designs. Managed to find these online actually, which was really good. So I've actually managed to work out how much these tend to go for. But yeah, these I paid £2 each for these, so £20 in total for all 10, and they go on average for about £8 each. But as I say, they're not stuff that I'm going to sell. They're going straight into the collection. With regards to the actual Pokemon cards themselves, I paid £90 for them, and yeah, obviously with that as well, that is they have been sorted through. So all of the full arts, the shinies and everything like that have all been pulled out. So there's no shinies, it is literally just bulk. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why I've only paid £90 for them, because there's no high value cards in this. This is literally just to fill space, or fill missing spaces in my albums. And for those of you that probably are thinking it, what do I do with all the ones that I've already got? At the moment, they just get stored. I haven't actually found anything to do with my other bulk cards yet, so don't know what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, it'll probably be, that's a problem I'm going to leave for the future. Okay, so getting on to the other bits that I picked up. So I managed to actually pick up 4 PS4 games, and the gameplay footage for these was a bit of a pain. So the first game that we got was Marvel vs Capcom Infinite. Paid £5 for this one. Goes for £12 at CEX, £6.50 on eBay. I did manage to get footage of this, but not in the story mode. This was more of the sort of training mode, because it was still installing when I tried to play it. This was one of the ones where it let you play it before it was completely installed. But what I will say is, with the PS4 games that I've got here, I actually installed them on my original PS4, and I did it with the internet turned off. So I just wanted to see what would install from just the discs. So as I say, this one was still installing when I sort of finished capturing the footage. So yeah, this should all be on the disc. But the next one is not the case. There's actually no footage of this one because I wasn't prepared to wait for it to install. And that is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I'm so gutted about, because this was one of the Call of Duty, especially the recent Call of Duties, that I really wanted to play. But yeah, so it installed, probably took about 20 minutes to install, loaded the game, and then when I clicked into it, it was prompting me for a 120 gig update. I was like, no, just start the game. So I started the game, got to the main menu, and the campaign was locked out. So I'm like, why is that locked? Sort of it's installed, so why is it locked out? And then after a bit of research, found out that all that's actually on the disc is the main menu and zombies. If you want the multiplayer or you want the single player campaign, you have to download it, which, let's just say I was disgusted, doesn't describe how I felt. This is the sort of game. This is everything that's wrong with the gaming industry now, as far as I'm concerned. Basically, if I'd paid full price for this, I'm paying £60, say, to hire a game for as long as Sony or Activision want to keep the servers live. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not interested in that. So going forward, any game that does not have the single player version on the disc, I'm not going to be capturing footage for, because, yeah, and I'll be honest, it's the last Call of Duty I'm probably going to pick up. And if I do pick them up, I'm going to make sure I pick them up for next to nothing, because, yeah, as I say, in a couple of years, this is going to be a coaster. It's not going to be worth anything more. And what I also found was cheeky and just so money grabbing was, it's got on the front here, PS5 upgrade available, but it's a paid for upgrade. You've got to pay £5 to upgrade to the PS5 version. And yeah, I'm just like, Activision, either sort of bring it in line and stop being anti-consumer, because you're very close to getting near EA. Yeah, just, it's not a game I'm going to be playing, just out of principle. Whatever. And then, yeah, right, price wise on that one, paid a £5 for it, goes for £18 on CX, £12 on eBay, and I think even at a £5, way too much paid for it. Definitely wouldn't pay £18 for it. The next game we got was Elite Dangerous, and this was another one. I'll be honest, I didn't capture footage for this. I actually played this after, went to play this after Call of Duty, and I was just so wound up that, yeah, I knew it was an online game, so should have lightened up a bit, but didn't. Because as soon as you're logging in, Frontier are then basically saying to you, sort of, you can't play this game unless you sign up with us. So we want your email address, we want this, we want that. And I was at the point where I'm like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. Sort of, if you're insisting on me having your account, I'm not interested. Which, once again, was really, really disappointing, because I am a massive fan of Planet Coaster. Absolutely loved that game. I even went to the launch event for that game up in London. But yeah, if that's the way that Frontier have taken things, it's very, very disappointing as far as I'm concerned. You should be able to play a game without having to put in a load of personal information as far as I'm concerned. So for Elite Dangerous, we paid £10 for that one. Goes for £12 at CX, £15 on eBay. But one game that I could play without any problems is Unraveled Yarny Bundle. So this is Unraveled 1 and 2. I will say the footage that you're seeing, I actually captured on the Xbox, because I already had it installed on my Xbox One, or 1S, sorry, 1X, Series X. Already had it installed on there, ready to play from sort of Game Pass. So while I was capturing a lot of the Xbox One games, I just decided to capture the footage there. But I will be opening this one. It is sealed, but unfortunately I have got to open it because the disc has come loose and it's rattling around inside. So just want to make sure we get the disc secured so it doesn't get damaged. But we paid £20 for that one. It's not listed on CEX, obviously it's brand new. And on eBay it goes for about £25 in that condition. And yeah, that is, so there's only a couple of pickups from Glenn. The rest that we've got are actually from Dan. And I will say, all of the games that we've got from Dan, I'm really happy with. But the first thing that we got from Dan isn't actually a game. It's actually nothing to do with gaming at all. This is a bit of a side obsession that I've got. And it actually is a Sony mini disc. Now, I got a mini disc player. I bought a mini disc player cheaply off a friend in the early 2000s, I think it was, like 2000, 2001. And I absolutely loved it. I even got a car stereo that had a mini disc player for my car at the time. And yeah, absolutely loved it. But over the years, I've still got all of my original mini discs. But over the years, I have been, whenever I see a mini disc going cheap, I tend to pick it up. And I've actually got quite a nice little collection of mini discs now. Just looking over at my shelf where I've got them all at the moment. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mini discs up there. This will be number 8. And then I've got probably close to about 70 mini discs. And what I do is I do actually still use it. So recently I went to Alton Towers with a family. Went a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, the whole way up there was listening to music from my mini disc. So yeah, absolutely love this. So this one that we've got here is the MZE40. So yeah, really nice little mini disc player. Unfortunately it doesn't work, so I am actually going to have to take it apart, see if I can work out what's wrong with it. But we paid £10 for that one, and in working condition these go for about £80. So if I can get it working, that'll be an absolute bargain. But now we can get back to the games, and as I say, all of the games that I've picked up from Dan are all perfect. They're just as I want them, because the first load that I've got are all PS1 games. So the first one that we've got is One Piece Mansion. I've heard of One Piece, don't know too much about it, but obviously where I saw it was One Piece, decided to pick it up. And I will be honest, when I was playing this game, capturing the footage, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Just, yeah, not a clue what I needed to do, how to do it, or anything like that. So yeah, I probably played it for, I think it was about 8 minutes, I think I clocked up on it. But yeah, it's, as well, the good thing with this one is the case is in really good condition, it's box complete, and yeah, just really happy with that one. So we paid £5 for that one, goes for £10 on CEX, £8 on eBay. Then next up, a game that I have heard of but never played, and that was Medieval. So yeah, this is a game, I've seen it before, just never played it myself, and I will admit I really enjoyed this one. It was, yeah, it's definitely one that I'll sort of go back and put a bit more time in, as and when I've got some spare time, because I've got so many games that I'm playing at the moment. I've actually resorted to taking my Switch into the office with me when I'm actually going into the office, and I'll sit there and play Tears of the Kingdom during my lunch break. But yeah, so we picked up Medieval for £15, goes for 18 on CEX, 25 on eBay. I will say all of the games that I picked up from Dan are all complete in box as well. Then next up we've got Command & Conquer Red Alert, and the reason that I picked this up, we've actually got 2 copies of this already up on the shelf. But the big difference is it is the Platinum version and the EA Classics version. I didn't actually have a Black Label version, so yeah, really wanted to pick it up. Dan had it. He sold it to me for £5. Looking it up online, it goes for about £20 on eBay, so that was definitely a good buy. Once again, it is complete. It's got both discs and the manual as well. Then the second to last PS1 game is another one that I have actually already got it in the collection, but I haven't got it. I think I'm missing the manual and the front cover, and that is Duke Nukem Time to Kill. Once again, absolutely love the original Duke Nukem games. Played 1 and 2 in the 80s when they were released. played Duke Nukem 3D all the time, absolutely loved it, and even played sort of some of the add-on packs, but I'd never actually played Time to Kill. And I will say, out of all of the Duke Nukem games, probably include Forever in that as well, this is probably my least favourite. It is the only one of the Duke Nukem, or the more modern Duke Nukem games, that doesn't have a first person perspective. It's actually sort of third person over the shoulder, and yeah, it was alright, but I just thought it was very bare bones, and thought Duke Nukem 3D was much better in both graphic quality, gameplay, the whole lot. But it's a nice one to have in the collection, and I do like to pick up, if I do find any Duke Nukem games out there, I will always pick them up. So we paid £10 for Time to Kill, and it goes for £10 on eBay, so no saving on that one, but it is in good condition, so that's always a plus. And then the final PS1 game that I picked up was Fade to Black. This is the EA Classics version. Once again, this one, when it was loading up, and when I first started it, it just gave me flashback vibes. Really, really reminded me of the game Flashback. I've got it up. I've got it on the Mega Drive. That's where I used to play it. Was on the Mega Drive. I think I've got a couple of copies elsewhere as well. But yeah, this really, really reminded me of Flashback. And probably that's my best way to describe it. From what I played, it looked like it could be a really interesting game. I think I sort of got into like the second or third room, got killed, and that was about the 10-11 minute mark, so I sort of wrapped it up there. But yeah, definitely one I probably will go back to and play again, see how far I can get on that. Paid £5 for that one, and once again goes for £5 on eBay. Yeah, what I tend to find, especially with the PS1 games, CEX is always very inconsistent as to whether they stock them or not. So as you've seen, we've got prices for Medieval and One Place Mansion, but Command & Conquer, Duke Nukem and Fade to Black, CEX just didn't have prices for. But the next game CEX did have a price for, and I will say, out of all the games that I've picked up today, this was the one that I had been desperate to play. I've had it installed on my PS4 for God knows how long. It was one of the first games I installed on the PS5. I actually bought it digitally on the PS4 probably about 3 years ago, and it was Horizon Zero Dawn. It is just a game that I just have not had a chance to play, and really, really glad that I got to play it, capturing the footage for this video. I will say I went well above my 10-minute time scale. I think I was on this one for about 2 hours before I was literally just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore and I had to go to bed. I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I ended up sort of wrapping it up and going to bed. But yeah, as I say, this is a game that I've been wanting to play for absolutely ages, and I have to say it did not disappoint. It was so worth the wait, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is definitely going to get reinstalled on my PS5 because I had to clear it out to capture footage for some other games. But I've uploaded my game save to the cloud, so I should be able to transfer that to my PS5 easily enough. And yeah, just absolutely loved this, really enjoyed it, and probably one of the best games I've played recently, bar a couple of the newer ones. So yeah, really, really looking forward to getting back into this. So we paid £5 for this. Actually, yeah, mucked up a bit on this because this was one that Dan actually picked up from the boot fair on the day, and I actually picked it up myself earlier on in the day. From the original seller. They were selling it for £4, but at the time I was a bit like, no, I won't pay that. And then as I was then going back round to do my second run, I was like, actually, if that Horizon's still there, I mean, I picked that up, £4 an alright price. But yeah, by the time I'd got it, it had gone. And then yeah, when I started looking through the stuff that Dan had, it was there, staring at me and waving. I was like, right, that's who picked it up. And then Dan looked it up, saw that it wasn't selling for that much, so he then sort of sold it for me for a £5. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, paid £5 for that. £1 more than I needed to, but hey ho. £8 at CEX, £7 on eBay. But yeah, a game that I am really chuffed to have in the collection. Then next up we get to an accessory, and I will say at the time of picking this up, I hadn't actually completely sorted through everything from the last boot fair video. So I'll stick a card up the top there to the last boot fair video where we picked up a whole load of bits from that seller. And let me just grab it, because one of the things we picked up was the Namco adapter for the PlayStation, and this is the adapter that goes on the AV out of the PlayStation, and you plug the gun into that, and then you plug the other part of the gun into the front of the console. So I think I said in that video that we've got the adapter now, so I'll have to keep an eye out for the gun. But yeah, as I say, I hadn't actually filmed that pickups part before going to this boot fair. And I think you can gather what we've got. We've got the Gun Con. So this is the Namco G-Con 45. So this is the one that most people will recognise as the PlayStation gun that was used with Time Crisis. I actually had a different gun when I had Time Crisis on the PlayStation. The one that I had, I think I've still got it. I think it's actually in the loft at the moment. But my one's actually shaped like a normal sort of 9mm handgun, but it comes with a pedal as well. So yeah, when I was originally playing it on the PlayStation, I just couldn't get to grips. I didn't like having sort of the two hands on it, whereas at least with the pedal, I was able to hold it properly. But obviously, yeah, it didn't have a Gun-Con or G-Con in the collection, so was looking to pick one up. Dan had one. He sold it to me for £4. Looking it up online, it goes for £12 at CEX, £20 on eBay. So yeah, really chuffed with that. And yeah, it just seemed to match up between the two boot fairs without me even realising it. And then just quickly, the last pickup that we've got of today is a manga book. This is Blue Exorcist #1. We paid £1 for this one, and it goes for £5 on eBay. Reason that I picked it up is I hadn't seen it before, and it looked good, so that's why I picked it up. And yeah, that is all of the pickups for today. So before we wrap up the video, let's quickly run through the totals. So our total spend was £239. If we'd bought everything we could from CEX, we would have spent £155. Obviously that didn't include any of the Pokemon bits, the Unraveled, some of the PS1 games, and the DS games, and then the other books. So a couple of bits that we missed out on, mostly from the sort of the Pokemon set. Then if we picked everything up from CEX, once again the only price that I haven't included in that is the Pokemon cards, just because it is so difficult to value a Pokemon set that one you haven't gone through, and comparing it to a listing on eBay for like even if you look at a listing for 2,000 cards, they're so all over the place that I was just like, no, better off just not to include a price for them. So if we picked everything else up from CEX, we're looking at a total price of £415. So yeah, once again, some really good pickups. And yeah, I'm going to go get them inventoried, get the item photography done, and yeah, get this video edited. So before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos just like this. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye.